Hi, I am Kandis from Cornell Cooperative Extension of Rensselaer County, and I am the 4-H team leader. Before we get started, I'd like to just do some housekeeping. Please be sure to use the chat anytime to ask questions. We intend this to be useful, informal, and informative. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Rensselaer County serves the residents of our county, providing research-based education within 4 major program areas: agriculture, horticulture, 4-H youth development, and family consumer science. Additionally, Cornell Cooperative Extension is part of the state and national land grant university system and serves as the local community outreach for Cornell University. Cornell Cooperative Extension of Rensselaer County puts knowledge to work in pursuit of economic vitality, ecological sustainability, and social well-being. We bring local experience and research-based solutions together, helping Rensselaer County families and communities thrive in our rapidly changing world. Tonight we're going to do gifts from the home, and in my portion we're going to use button-up shirts to make pillowcases. And these are 2 images I just grabbed from the web. The link is below if you're interested in seeing that. Step 1, you're going to iron your shirt that you've chosen, and honestly, the uglier shirts make the best pillowcases, but this is also a chance for you to use a shirt if you want to make a memory pillow. It's a great way to display something that maybe a loved one wore all the time in your home without it just being a shirt that you stick in the closet. You can also use a button-up sweater if your sewing machine is able to sew through that thicker fabric. So first you're going to iron it and then button it and then pin the shirt front and back to each other to keep it from moving when you're cutting. You're going to cut the shirt based on whatever pillow insert you have, adding 2 inches to both the width and the length. After you cut it out, you're going to flip the shirt inside out and repin the fabric so the shirt's finished sides face each other. We're going to sew the pieces together using a 3/8 inch of a seam, snip at the corners just to ease turning. So you can see in my picture all the way to the left, I have my sewing machine set to a straight stitch. The picture on the right-hand side shows you basically a 3/8 seam is the edge of your presser foot if your needle is in the center alignment position. And you can see my fabrics here aren't exactly lined up, but I pinned them the way that I want them. So one fabric was a little bit longer than the other, so I'm ignoring that and actually going with the fabric on top, if you can see that in the picture, and aligning that with the 3/8 seam. After you sew all the way around all 4 sides of your pillowcase, you're going to trim your corners off, and that's when you turn it inside or right side out. You won't get bunchiness in the corners. After you sew all the way around, you're going to flip the shirt right side out, and you can re-sew a seam around again to give it a more finished look. I used a small 3/8 seam allowance again, but you can make it a little larger if you have room to still fit it inside your pillow that you chose. I also used a small seam because I did not want it to get in the way of my pocket. So some of your shirts that you might be using, you might have been able to cut it in a way that you're not using the pocket, or you can leave the pocket on there, however you decide to do it. And after that, you're going to insert your pillow and rebutton and fluff. Some resources that might be available or helpful, are on our ccerensselaer.org website under our 4-H forms page. This page will give you some helpful sewing handouts, how to thread a needle, how to sew on a button in case one falls off in the process, sewing machine practice sheets if this is your first go around using the sewing machine. This is a really good project because it is a simple straight stitch all the way around twice, and that is it. And then also we have some 4-H a sewing project activity guide. and that helps you get to know your sewing machine as well as a few other ideas that you can do. And now I am going to pass the baton on to Eileen, who is going to show you a few more gifts from the home.
Hi everyone, my name is Eileen DePaula. I am the 4-H Program Coordinator for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Rensselaer County. And today we have a really fun project that is using upcycled t-shirts to make a tote bag. So if you have an old t-shirt that you're really fond of, but maybe it's a little worn, this will give it a new purpose. And this is something that we can reuse, or you can give it as a gift, whichever you'd like. So the first thing we need to do is gather our supplies. We need an old t-shirt, some scissors, a ruler, and a pen or marker or another writing instrument so that we can draw some marks on our t-shirt. To begin with, you will cut the sleeves and the neck off the t-shirt. Make sure that you cut away from the seam so it's not left there. And then you're going to turn the bag inside out and measure it. So I like to use a ruler, and a book is also something good, or whatever else you think you might be carrying in it. That'll give you an idea of how deep you want to make the bag. So you'll take your ruler and just draw along the straight line and measure so that you know how far to cut the strips up from the bottom. Now this bag this t-shirts, I've already cut the strips in, and I've got them fanned out a little bit so you can see them. The strip should be about 3/4 to 1 inch wide. The thinner strips, actually, if you're doing this with your children, are a little bit easier for them to tie. But it's up to you. If you want to make the strips a little bit wider, it'll just make it a little bulkier on the bottom, but that's fine too. As long as when we get to the knotting part, as long as they're knotted tightly, it doesn't matter. It'll still work. So now we're going to knot our strips together. So you're going to take the first pair of slits and tie them into a knot, and then go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Eventually, what you're going to do is take a strand from the middle knot, and you're going to tie it to the strip on the left, and then you're going to take a strip of it and tie it to the strip on the knot on the right. And you're just going to go all the way down until you've got a nice knotted bottom of your bag. You'll have, depending on how long your strips are, you might have like a little bit of a fringe there, but that's okay because we're going to turn it inside out. So when your knots are all nice and done, and again, this is something great for kids to do, so you can have a lot of fun doing this. You're going to turn the bag right side out again, and you've got a finished upcycled t-shirt tote bag. These are, in my examples, we've got different size bags. And these are all bags that have really nice 4-H messages, so they're obviously very important to me. And these, again, are great bags. You can give them as gifts, or you can keep it for yourself. What is really nice about these is you can wash them, so you can reuse them over and over and over again. And then if you've got a bag that, you know, as a 4-H educator, I always have t-shirts from different events. They have different meanings to me, so it's really nice to have them to use over and over and over again. And today we are going to make some upcycled t-shirt coasters. This is a great way to reuse any of those old t-shirts that you still have. You're not quite ready to give up yet, but they're pretty worn and they're not good for wearing. So to start with, we are going to gather up our supplies. We need some old t-shirts, some masking tape, scissors, and some glue. The first thing we need to do is cut the t-shirts into strips. Now this is a no-sew project, so it is appropriate for any ages, but obviously for younger children they should be supervised with the scissors. So, and also you do not want to use any of the seam part of the t-shirt. So you can see in the picture on the left, I've got maybe one more strip after I've cut this one, and then I'll be up to the seam. So we will not be using that part. So when you have all your strips together, you just gather them up. And now we're going to take 3 of the fabric strips and we'll knot them together. The knot in this picture, just the way it was taken, it looks like it's really big, and it's not. You want to, make it fairly small because you definitely want to work around it. So then you'll tape that knot, those strips down to the table, and just start braiding. And this is a great project, again, for youth. This will be a great way for them to build up some manual dexterity in their fingers and have some fun. Now, if you're thinking about maybe making these coasters as a gift for somebody, you can color coordinate if they have a favorite color. You can do them in one solid color, or in this case, this was an old tie-dye t-shirt that was green and white, so those are our 4-H colors, so that's going to be really special to me. So again, anybody can do this. Just take your time knotting or braiding. If you can make the braids as tight as possible, that is helpful. And, encourage the kids to do it that way. But let them have fun. This is again, and you know what's really nice about braiding? If it's not exactly the way you want it, you can start all over again, and that's okay. So this is our finished braid, and you can see at the top on the left, which would have been the bottom, I also put another small knot there. Now comes the fun part when we're going to finish them off. So again, if you're using like a super glue or something that's a little more powerful, you definitely want adults supervising. If not, you can use any of the craft or fabric glues. They work just as well. So you want to start by putting on one of the knots some glue, and then you're going to roll that. And you're just going to keep circling around. And you want to put some glue about maybe every 1.5 to 2 inches. And just be careful, make sure it is sticking. And if you have to go back and add a little bit more, that's fine too. So you're just going to keep going until you have a nice round coaster. And again, it's no sew, so it's appropriate for any age, and your kids can have a lot of fun doing it. And when you're done, you'll have some really cool coasters. And you can make these different sizes. I actually have some bigger ones, and I have some underneath some planners at home. Like I said, you can color coordinate. If somebody has a favorite color, you can do their favorite colors. Just have some fun with it.
Okay, thank you. So that was Eileen and my quick projects, but we also have Mary Lee Kopachi going to share a gift from the home tonight. So Mary Lee is a longtime 4-H mom and leader, and now she is officially a part of our board of directors as the chair of marketing. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I wanted to say mentoring, marketing. So thanks, Mary Lee, for joining us. I'm going to put up your picture, or the directions, I'm sorry, the directions while you talk through it.
Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. I am so happy to be here. It feels like we have such a good fortune to be in Rensselaer County. We have truly great educators and great staff, and our county is so responsive. If you have needs, call. They will help you out, or email them. They will find what they can do to help you. So I've also trained as a master food preserver in the last few years, and it's been a great joy and interesting to do, and made a lot of new friends. So I highly recommend that also. Today, what we're going to do, part of the marketing committee was to do this new series on back to home basics, because we are all slowing down a little bit and returning to our homes, and a lot of younger families are having some new experiences with this. And so we thought we could offer some interesting and fun family and individual projects. So today's project for me is going to be a comfy corn or rice soothing sock. It may sound odd, but I think you're very familiar with it, because if you remember the corn packs, many of you might have had a corn pack as a gift. It is a microwavable pack, literally, of feed corn, and it uses the skills that Kandis just spoke about. If you have those sewing skills, you just make 2 squares, sew around it, fill it, and in this case, there's a flannel removable cover. But basically, it's just a sack of feed corn. Yes, the corn the animals eat, the deer, the other animals that eat corn. So that's what we're going to use. But in this pack also, you could use, instead of the corn, you can use just simply plain white rice. Not the fancy, not the seasoned, not the pre-cooked. Plain, inexpensive white rice. And that works well too. There are a lot of other fillings, but after a lot of research online, these are the 2 safest, most reliable, and most effective. So this corn pack though, I said, a lot of people don't sew. Many of us love to sew, but if you don't sew, you may not be able to make these. And I realized we have other things in our homes that we can make them with, and that is socks. So we're going to make what's called corn socks, soothing socks that are filled with corn, and it makes great gifts and a lot of wonderful uses. It's an easy way to make your own comfy, warm and moist, warm or cold pack. It can be used also as a cold pack in the freezer. You put it in the freezer and you can have it ready for that unexpected injury, or to put it in your food pack to keep it cool. And as a warm pack, it is great as a bed warmer right at your foot of your bed, a foot warmer to sit on, seriously, to put your feet on right outside your chair when your feet are coming in from cold weather. And it's the unusually warm and moist heat is particularly soothing for aches and pains. I'm not going to make claims all the soothing aspects of it, but you can look online and many different ailments that are benefiting from warm, moist heat. This is it. It is much safer than an electrical heating pad because they are subject to overheating, electrical problems, maybe falling asleep with it on and you could get burns. This pack is portable. You microwave it and bring it somewhere. It lasts almost an hour. It stays warm. That's pretty remarkable. And the sock actually cools gradually, so that it's not suddenly cold. So pretty much you're probably going to fall asleep by the time it's cold. So if that were the way to use it. Some people use it on their necks, their backs. It really is remarkable. So I highly recommend it. Also, people have suggested to bring it in your car. So when your car is warming up, just bring it in your car so your hands are warm or your chair is warm while your car is warming up. So that's another good idea. Some people, cats and dogs, love to lay on them. Sounds ridiculous, but they do like to. So you warm it up and they'll go hang out and be as happy as could be. Also, people have used them as frozen and on your wrist on the computer. So there has been conversations about the carpal tunnel and you rest cold packs on it, and that's kind of another use. And we have the perfect shape for that one. So you can also place them, as again, like I said, under hot or cold, under food or under your beverage or in your lunch bag to keep the temperature the way you'd like them. Now, the most important thing to do is to use 100% cotton sock. And full disclosure is that these are not. So find the 100% cotton sock. They are the safest in the microwave. You may have good fortune and it'll be okay, but some synthetic fibers may scorch or melt in the microwave. So best, absolutely best to use 100% cotton. And that includes in the ribbon you might put on it. So first thing you're doing, I'll see if I can bring this down a little bit. I don't know, let's see. Is use 2 cups of corn. Do not make the mistake I used. I bought a bag of 50-pound feed corn, which you can get at, let's say, Agway, Tractor Supply, etc. But they are not all equal. Some of the corn is not clean. I didn't know. So I bought a pack of feed corn and found it to be rather dusty. My other one was perfectly clean at the store I happened to go to. So I resolved that by taking a strainer, just a slotted strainer, put the corn in it, and sifted it through. And I already sifted this, so you're not going to see what happens. But it comes through like sand on the beach. And this is literally how much of that I shook out of my pack, out of like maybe 4 cups. So all of this is the dust, little pieces of corn. Now, and that's fine because that's perfect for feeding the birds. So if you have any of those projects, which we're going to do in our next webinar, which is adding peanut butter and putting it on pine cones or making a bird wreath, this is perfect. I highly recommend you either freeze it or store it in a tight container because it probably has those insects. Naturally, would have the insects maybe that you don't want to have left in your house. So when we make these corn packs, we are going to heat them. Corn stalks, we are going to heat them and microwave them 3 times in a row for under a minute, and it will kill any possible eggs. Then you give it away. It'll be much more appreciated just in case. Okay, so we'll move this back down again. I'm sorry about that. So we're going to take what we believe to be 100% cotton sock. I put it in a container so I don't have to wrestle it around the table. And in order to make a funnel, I just took a piece of, you can see it's one of those packaging papers, but anything you want to put, a cardboard. And I put it right in there, get it started. And then I have that ready. And I just measure out a couple cups. It's only, the amount is regarding the size of the sock you have. The key is not to overfill it so that you have a chance for it to move, the sock to move as you're mixing it. So all this is going to get filled. I'm going to fill it probably to here, let's just say. But you want to be able to mix the corn as it's microwaving because you're only microwaving it a minute first and then 30-second intervals. It only will be about 2 minutes total to be safe, so monitor it closely. But you don't want it overheated. You have to mix it because the center of the corn will be particularly hot compared to the outer part. So you must mix it, and then you'll know the true temperature. Do not overheat. Then you're going to do exactly what it looks like. You've got this. Now remember, 100% cotton. And you're going to do the most amazing effort of just tying a knot. And there you go. Now you have a corn pack, soothing corn sock. And now I will take this in the microwave for 1 minute, microwave it. Then I'll stop, mix it, check it out, put it in again. The first time you're going to do it 3 times because you want to kill the eggs if there are any. After that, just let it cool and you can give it away, use it. And by using it, you simply put it in the microwave for a minute, take it out, mix it around, put it back in for 30-second intervals, probably only up to 2 minutes. And check to see the temperature. The first few times, it is going to be very moist. You're going to not believe what moisture comes out, but that stops after a while. There's moisture in it right naturally. But then after that, it's just slightly moist. It's just very comfortable. So that is truly as simple as it is. I have a couple here that I made. Like this is what might look like. If you wanted to give it, and the best thing is, if I hadn't filled this, my intention was, and it is, to have this as the cover. So your second sock can be the cover, take it off, wash it, bring it back and use it again. Now remember, your socks, the cover does not have to match the sock, the other sock. It does not have to match the filled sock, but it's kind of a nice gift if it does. Perfectly fine as if it doesn't. You can always wrap it with a layer of flannel. That's really nice too, because everybody likes flannel. It's comfortable. So that is a great way to also package when you send. Next week, we're going to do a webinar on holiday in a mailing box. So these can be shipped in the box. Give me 1 second, I'll show you. A little soundbite for next week, but if it fits, it ships. This weighs a lot. You're going to get your money's worth on the shipping. Whatever you can put in this box, no matter what the weight is, it gets to go to Hawaii, Alaska, for the same price as next door. So it's a great way to send out really nice. This year we need cozy, comfortable gifts. We all need that, and we want to share that with each other. So here's another example, little holiday one. Again, like I said, this one is be the cover for this one, right? Or it could be its own. Want to send it out as a pair to someone. It's a great way, 100% clean, well, 100% cotton. Of course, they're going to be clean. 100% cotton socks. And you can do exactly the same with rice. Now, you don't need to add aroma. any sense, you don't need that. It doesn't usually last. It wastes your money. I did look up a lot. There's a lot of information. These, in some hospitals, these corn packs made appropriately and properly are being accepted in hospitals as safety, as a way to, as an alternative to the heating packs, and as an alternative to the chemicals that can break out of the specialized packs. I'm not saying our hospitals, I'm saying though that that's how the natural and reliable they can be. So we got rid of the insects. We know there's gonna be a little moisture more than will be afterwards, but after that, because each microwave is different, you therefore heat them in intervals. Remember the takeaway, heat it in intervals and monitor it. You will remember if you overheat it. Don't wanna do that. It lasts years, literally. I can attest to that. Not sure how old, but at least a couple. Intervals of 30 seconds, probably not usually more than 2 minutes. Monitor carefully, do not overheat. As a cold pack, when it's in the freezer, we store a couple in the freezer and a couple us just in a cabin on the counter, because right from the freezer, they're an instant ice pack. Or, like I said, food pack for your cooler or your dog in the winter, in the summer, when they need something to lean on that's too hot. I've lost myself, but there it is. So it's a really great thing for unexpected injuries. It's there, the rice, you know, so it's right there for the injuries. And remember that cover can be the second sock. It can be a different sock. Or it could be just a cotton wrap or a tea towel. And another thing I learned from an added cleanliness protection, you can take these socks, put them in the freezer Ziploc bags, not just the storage plastic bags, but the freezer ones. They're thicker plastic. So you cover the first layer up in the freezer with the freezer bags, and then you can microwave them just like that. Then put your clean cover on. And it can always stay in the freezer. That I call it a freezer bag because that's what it is, but don't confuse it with coming out of the freezer always. So anytime you have it in storage, it could be in that plastic heavier bag. And then you put the cloth cover over it all the time. So that's always getting washed, and nothing, if there, you know, anything that might get on that you'd rather not have on won't be through the corn pack. They can be washed. You can take the pack, put it in cool water, rinse it, put a little soap, rinse it. Don't soak it. That water will be absorbed. Rinse and rinse and soak and soak, rinse. Rinse it through, and take it out, shake it out the best you can, and keep it out in the sun and turn it a lot, and it will dry. You shouldn't have to do that. I've never done it, to be honest, but the corn is so inexpensive. It's probably, I have a 40-pound bag. I'd pick it up, but I'd be out of the screen for a while. A 40-pound or 50-pound bag, I think it was $8 or $9. But ask them if it's clean, so you don't have to go through that extra sifting like I did, okay? It's fine, but also you don't want to have a dusty thing going around. So sift it first if you have to, but ask them. And if it's not, it's fine. It's doable. So that's what I have. It just takes, again, sock, maybe a pair of scissors, some decorative thread. And if I have one more minute, I want to show you one of the best tricks I learned a long time ago, and I still use it because it's really fun. And that is to make the cording out of thin thread. Can you see the yarn, how it's just single yarn? And see, can you see that cording? It's as simple as this. You'll never forget it. Because you just take it, I know probably half of you already know this, tie a knot. You can mix colors, you can have 4 or 5, 6 layers. This might be what I would do, tie it to a knob of something. So like you can just say I tie it onto this, and all I'm gonna do is twist. Now you can put a clip of a pen on it and then roll the pen so you don't get this after a while. But for now, I'm gonna twist this. And that is all this is tension on the yarn. And it's just so much fun because you mix so many colors. It can be larger loops, larger amounts. So it's a thicker cord, a thin cord. It makes great wrappings for packages. And Eileen, I want to tell you what we're going to do next week from your great project you taught us about, because our group next week is stealing it, or let's call it piggybacking. And we're going to make Christmas bags out of it and storage bags. So I'll show you what the shirts look like now, and you'll see them next week. Anyway, so here you go. Take one end, put your hand in about the middle of it. I would twist it more to make it tighter. Put this up here, hold on to it, and watch. Hopefully I get it right. Can you see the cording? That's it. I mean, this is rope making, not even 101, but this is amazing. And if you do it tightly, it can look really sweet. I made one out of this other thin thread, the thin yarn. You can see the thin yarn here. Now take a look at that. That's nice. It looks professional, but more than professional, it's just take something that you have around your home as quality stuff, and you created something stronger, useful, wrap your packages up with it. So that's one of my favorite tips. I think I learned when I was 12. Still enjoy that tip. So I wanted to show you, can I do a little soundbite for next week? Kandis, do you mind? Okay. Eileen and Kandis are 4-H educators, and those who came later, I want to point out it's the 100th year of 4-H, Cooperative Extension 4-H. Isn't that amazing? It's an international organization, but our country has had that for over 100 years. And that's pretty impressive. We're solid and we try hard, right? All right, is that not the best t-shirt on earth? Little child. But this was, you know, a cast off, and I'm going to make that package. I'm going to do what Eileen said. I'm going to cut. So imagine no sleeves, no neck, and a little button. I mean, a little at the bottom. But now, oh, I meant to bring my ribbons over, but I have them upstairs. Too bad. But just think of really, you know, bright ribbon or some. This is like a nice package, and it is going in my if it fits it ships box. So I am collecting things that I think are useful and festive for many of us who are going to be having holidays by ourselves or just with those that live with us. And this is a great way to use that. And you can store later things in it, your holiday ornaments or things in your counter or in your closet. So this is just one box, one package, but nice little present package. For instance, you could have a lot of fun with it. Just ideas that could be festive and very jolly. And this was a bag. Actually, I went somewhere and these were all folded up at the counter, and that's when I learned what Eileen was doing. I couldn't quite understand what it was. This was at the counter as a shopping bag because now people cannot, you know, you can get plastic bags. I had this so full, I'm sure I can put this pumpkin in here and carry it around. I mean, they are strong. They are very strong. So, you know, they're not going anywhere. And what I was going to do is put pine cones, collect pine cones, and wrap these up in a festive one and give it as people that have wood stoves or fireplaces. And like I said, they can ship and put all sorts of wonderful things that you really want to give somebody. So that's all of my secrets for tonight. I think someone had a cat, so I just really want to show that one. Who has the cat? Who has the cat? Is it Diane? Do you have a cat?
I think it was Sharon that I saw the cat crawling over her shoulder.
Shirt, but I think we're going to have a really nice bag. Like I said, you can use for storage in your attic, in your closets. So it is a great way. I like Eileen's idea. It's a great way to use those things that you do honor and appreciate, but it is time to maybe do some other things. And also next week, just to let you know, Master Food Preservers, you don't have to have prerequisite skills, but we're going to show you how to make spiced pears. And seriously, it is like you think sugar plum fairies. I have not smelled that scent in decades. It's pears with incredible spices. Just a very unique smell. And we're going to do granola because it ships well. And it's absolutely delicious and healthy. And a few other things. We're going to have a guest from Better Homes and Gardens. And in the last webinar, we're going to have with Josh Polito. He's going to do Nature's Gifts of Amazing Birds. So you can bring birds to your yard to cheer, but he's going to teach us all about the experiences of having, like observing the birds and understanding them more. And it'll be he's part of the ornithology lab at Cornell University, and he'll have a special guest from the Audubon Society of the Capital Region. So our goal with the holiday series is to bring people together, because we know these are a little different holidays, but we know we can reach out to each other, and we're all going to be we're going to know each other cares for each other. So that is our goal, is sharing and caring and conveying joy. So I'm very pleased to be here, and thank you, Kandis, for letting me come on the program.
So after you and Eileen did the t-shirt bags, I was thinking I have an echo, don't I? No?
No, I think it's okay.
You would hang it on a coat hanger and put it in the closet for like the hats and scarves and mittens, because I have those at the bottom of my closet.
That is nice. I was thinking about your Kandis, your shirts too. That is like a beautiful gift for young families to give, like friends to give to friends, or children to give to grandparents, or aunts and uncles would be nice. So you get something, you can't be with them, but it ships in a box. You can have it, and it just makes you feel very happy to be closer to the people you care about.
Yes. So you did join us a little bit late, and I sent out an email for those of you that registered ahead of time, but I can follow up with anybody that just registered right before the webinar. That has links to the YouTube video that I played for Eileen's projects and my projects with the button-up pillow, the bags and coasters. And this will be recorded and put on our website at some point, and shared that way as well. So ccerensselaer.org, ccerensselaer.org. Is there any questions right now before we head off for the night?
Well, happy Thanksgiving, Bernie, our Executive Director of Cooperative Extension.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. So we
Thank you for
will
everybody.
sign off, and I will follow up with those who did not receive an email yet with the link.
So we hope you'll sign up and register for next Tuesday night at 7 and the following Tuesday night at 7 for the next two Back to Home Basics holiday series. We're very pleased to have you, and please call and connect with Cooperative Extension at any time and go to the website. And don't forget Harvest Connection, good place to get amazing food.
Thanks, Mary Lee.
Okay.
Bernie, I see you're trying to chat, but you're muted.
Nice job. Nice plug there, Mary Lee. I appreciate it.
Well deserved. We have a great county organization.